All right, welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, for liking and subscribing. If you're not, go ahead and hit that button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like button. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to brighten up the place. So let's get into this conversation. And this is just a pretty dark topic. I wasn't going to talk about it, but I just had to share my piece, and I would love to get your thoughts respectfully in the comment section. But listen, guys, if you haven't heard already, the story about the young lady that got bashed in the face with a brick because she would not give an animal, a barbarian, a baboon, not a man, because a male may do something like this, but a man would never do anything like this. A barbarian got pissed off because she would not give it her number. I would never call someone like that a man. But I wanted to talk about this not just because of what happened, but the audacity of some people who would think that if she had just given the barbarian her phone number, this never would have happened. And we do live in a space and time in society where victims are blamed a lot, and especially when they're African American female victims. African American women, we definitely do get our fair, not our fair share, there's no fair share, but we definitely do get the unfortunate side of these licks when it comes to things that are unfair, and then being blamed for things happening when the unfair situation takes place. But I want to play what she had to say, and then I'm going to continue with my commentary.
Yo, this man just hit me in my face with a brick, and all these black men just watch, and they don't give a yeah, this man hit me, he grabbed a rock, and he hit me in my face, and I would have given him my number. And all y'all just watch. Y'all see it? Y'all see it? What y'all do? I want y'all to be a man. I want y'all to be a man. Do something. Y'all gonna let a man hit me in my face. Yo, this... What have I ever done to anybody in my life to deserve this? I never did anything in my life to hurt anybody. Literally, a man asked me for my number. I said no, and he picked up a brick in front of so many men and was like, "What you gonna do?" And I told all these men, like, "Yo, why this man got a brick on my face?" And he's holding a brick, and all these is watching, and nobody does nothing. And he hits me in my face, and then they all just watching, and they let that get in the corner. How is this okay? This is what y'all doing to women? Like, don't understand. Like, I'm just trying to take my friend out from 5 years ago. Like, literally spending my whole money, not bothering nobody. Like, what the kind of is this? I'm in the parking lot just trying to buy some food. And, like, I'm literally like, why is this busted up on me like this? And I'm looking at all these. They literally let this do all of this. They let it, like, really, like, do all of that. I never thought it was going to happen, yo. Like, it's so whack. And he's going to get away with it. He got in the car. He got away. He's never going to get caught. He's going to move on. He's probably at an after party right now having a good time. Do you feel good about yourself doing this to a woman? For what? Like, all this violence against black women is not okay. Like, what do I do to deserve this? Like, what is my defense against this? It's been 12 hours. I'm in the hospital. I'm getting discharged. I do have a concussion, so I gotta take it slow for a week. Unfortunately, I don't have the kind of job that's gonna give me that kind of grace. So, you know, I still got a mother. I still gotta teach. I still gotta work. I really just want the best for everybody, and I don't know why people want to kill me. I can't even chew food the next week. I had a vacation that I planned 6 months ago for my birthday. I'm so afraid, why do people want to hurt me so bad? I really love my community, and just to know that, like, people hate me to this level, to this kind of level of violence.
All right, you heard that, and my heart and prayers truly go out to her. I could not even imagine. I couldn't even imagine. And I'm quite sure that any woman, whether you are African American or not, if you're listening to this, I'm quite sure you have had at least one experience in your life where someone, a guy, a male, asked you for your number or, tried to speak to you and you weren't interested and you turned them down. Could you imagine that turn down, getting a response to being attacked physically because you said no? Because you said no. And listen, I don't care if her response was, no, MFer, get the F up out of my face. I don't care if the response was like that. It never should have come to the point where this N-word would pick up a brick and hit her in the face. But if you saw her surroundings, not saying that it's okay, but if you saw her surroundings, you saw the area that she was in. Again, I'm not blaming her. I'm not blaming her. But what I am saying, because it was dark, this did not look like a safe space. It did not look like a safe area for any female. I don't care what your ethnicity is, but for any female to be out at, whether you're alone or with other people, when it's dark. Shoot, the area really didn't look safe in the daylight, in my personal opinion. But again, I don't know where this is located, and this may just be her, her normal everyday routine or every weekend routine or whatever. They said it occurred in Houston, Texas. Houston is a huge, huge city, and it is, I believe, predominantly African American, to my belief. I could be wrong, but I believe that is what it is. So the people that were seen in the background of this video that she did, it looked like a bunch of losers, it just looked like a bunch of loser males. They're not men. So for her to say, I want you to be a man, unfortunately, that was something that was going to be impossible in that crowd of people because there were no men in that crowd. They were just males. And animals are males. Other species are males. These are just human males. They were not men. So there were no men there. So unfortunately, there was going to be no protection for her in that space because it just wasn't something that these species of animals out there were able to give, which would have been protection that she needed. So the male that hit her with the brick are just like the other males that were surrounding her. So no, they would not have stopped him from doing what he did. They would not have jumped in. They would not have tried to protect her. They would not have taken a brick in her space and, jump in the trajectory of the brick so it could hit them versus hitting her. So I understand that a lot of the tears that she was giving was more so, I felt, was more so out of frustration, anger, and hurt feelings and feeling unprotected, more so than the pain that she got inflicted on her face because she turned this animal down that asked for her number. But for the people who said, well, she should have just given her number up and then this wouldn't have happened. Do you know how asinine that sounds? Okay, she give up a number, because some people were like, well, if she just gave a number, it didn't have to be her number, how would he have known? She has the right to say no. And the fact that people think that she had to oblige or else These are the same type of people that think that someone deserves to get assaulted sexually because they should have just given it up. If you just laid there and took it. There was actually a congressman that said that when it came to all of these things regarding abortion rights and stuff like that. It was an old white congressman that basically said that when it came to females getting sexually assaulted, they should learn to just lay there and take it and not put up a fight. What in the hell? Like, so it's definitely not real protection out here for African American or Black women. But honestly, it's women overall as well. Because the majority of crimes are committed by men. That song James Brown made a long time ago, This Is a Man's World, that's not a lie. And if you look at the world is a pretty shitty place. The world has a lot of problems. There's a lot of issues in society. And more so, it is because of the leadership. It's not even more so. It is because of the leadership. Or lack thereof, I should say. The ones that are in positions of authority and leadership are majority men, and they're leading the world to hell in a handbasket. They commit the majority of the crimes. They are the ones that are in the positions of leadership and authority. They're the ones that are supposed to be taking the lead, that are supposed to be the heads of the household and all of that different type of stuff like that. And that is the main reason why there's so many effed up things happening. But because they don't want to take accountability and they would rather pass the buck, point the blame, it goes all the way back to the Bible days, people. In the book of Genesis, when God told them you can eat of any tree in the garden, just don't eat of this tree or you shall surely die. The serpent came and tempted the woman. And a lot of the males in churches and leadership roles, preachers, pastors, teachers, whatever, a lot of them over the years, they wanted to point the blame and say, oh, well, you know, the woman is the weaker vessel. The woman is more emotional. The serpent knew who he could go and tempt. So it's the woman's fault. But listen, the woman took the fruit. A lot of people say apple, but the Bible didn't say it was an apple. It said fruit. The woman took the fruit to Adam. If Adam would have been the damn leader that he was supposed to be, he would not have even partake in the eating of the fruit. He would have said, look, our Lord said we are not to touch the fruit of this tree, so we are not going to partake. But no, he went and partook. And then when he was confronted, he pointed the finger and said, that woman that you gave to me, that woman, Eve, she did this and she did that and she brought it to me. Like, it's always blaming instead of coming up with solutions and doing the freaking right thing, you know. And some of you be saying, well, what the hell does that have to do with this woman getting hit in the face with a brick? But I'm saying it's a trickle down effect. All of these things play a role into why a lot of the stuff is going on in the world and in society as a whole right now. I felt the pain of this young woman. And for anyone to say that, well, if she had just given the number out, she didn't have to give her number out. She could have just given a number because he would have called and it wouldn't have been her. Or even if she gave her number, she didn't have to answer the phone. What was he going to do? Okay, that is just asinine to even say that. She gave her number out. Let's say she did. And she answered the phone. And then he threatened her to go out on a date. She goes out on a date. And he threatens her to give it up. She just gives it up because she's afraid she's going to get hit with a brick again. Listen, I'm just saying, all of those things would be asinine to think that they would happen after she got this aggressive male to ask for her number, because I highly doubt that he came on to her in a way that was pleasant and then it immediately provoked a response of him picking up a brick and hitting her in her face. I'm quite sure he was nasty and rude about it as well. Even if he wasn't nasty and rude about it, if she wanted to say no, she had the right to say no. people need to stop pointing the finger and the blame at this woman. And I even saw some comments and some people saying, well, she gave off trans vibes. So listen, don't even go there, because he asked for her number. He asked for her number. She didn't say he asked for my number and I told him that I was a trans woman and then he got offended and picked up a brick and hit me. She said, I said no. And he picked up a brick and hit me in my face. And these males, even though she said men, these males that were surrounding didn't do anything about it. But, I mean, you look at the surroundings, she wasn't going to get any protection in that space. That's a space that hopefully she has learned that she cannot be in. Hopefully it is a learning lesson for any women that may know her, may hang out in those same spaces that she was in. They may be familiar with their surroundings. They may be familiar with the space and say, hell, that I got to do something different with my life, because being out around in these spaces at this time of night with these type of people is just not something that's going to bode well for my present and my future. So I need to do something different with my life. But this is absolutely ridiculous for anyone to think that she should have given the number up and then this would not have happened. Stop blaming the victim. This could have been a whole lot worse. Like, what if he hit her in her eye? What if the brick hit her so hard that she fell down and she hit the ground, cracked her skull, and bled out? That could have been so much worse. I really hope and pray that they find this animal and lock him up. But unfortunately, the truth of the matter is that he very well may have gotten away with this for now. But that's the old saying that I've heard a long time ago. You may get by, but you never get away. So he may not get prosecuted for this crime, but something else is going to happen down the line where he's going to get what's coming to him. And I hope it happens really fast, because I couldn't even imagine. This is absolutely insane. And I just wanted to speak on this, guys. Really, really heart-wrenching to see her crying. And again, I felt like the tears that she was crying was more so out of feeling helpless and hopeless, not so much even out of the pain that she was experiencing from the hit that happened to her face. Because honestly, she was speaking, even though she was hurt and angered and frustrated when she was doing the video, and you could see the big lump on the side of her face, she was speaking fine. So I just think it was more the shock of knowing that this happened to her in a crowd of people and nobody stuck up to help her. No one stuck up to get at that male. Not a man, a male. So men don't do things like this. But unfortunately, men overall are the largest percentage of perpetrators of crimes overall. Because you always hear about women and the statistics of how there are more women than men. So how is it that they're the highest perpetrators of the crimes? You know? So it's just insane. I really will never understand this. And it shouldn't be something to be understood. It should be something to be appalled by. I hope and pray that she gets the healing that she needs on this journey and that she can get out of that community, because it's not safe for her. It's not safe for anyone that is a female, in my personal opinion. Get up and get out of there. But definitely don't be hanging out in these spaces where it's dark. All I see is dumpsters around in the background. It's some parking lot. I don't know if there was a club and they're hanging out behind the club in some retail outlet space or whatever it is. I don't know. But it doesn't look like a safe space. It's absolutely crazy. And I'm happy that nothing more happened to her, because unfortunately we know it could have been a whole lot worse. He could have grabbed her and taken her in an alley somewhere and done what he wanted to do with her, because ultimately that's what it all boiled down to, is wanting to get the draws, wanting to get the panties, wanting to get in between the legs. It wasn't about seeing a beautiful, attractive young lady and wanting to forge a friendship and a relationship and maybe getting to know her better and seeing where it goes from there. That doesn't really exist much anymore, and especially it doesn't exist in spaces like that. It doesn't exist at all. those are the spaces that the sexy reds and the Sukianas, the Suki with the good coochies and the people like that hang out to get their rocks off and all that other disgusting stuff that these chicks do these days. And so unfortunately, she's got to do something different to get herself out of that space, because there's definitely not going to be any males there that are going to stand up for her and protect her. She's learned that the hard way, but it's not her fault that this happened to her. I'm just hoping and praying that she will learn from this experience. Sometimes we go through a lot of horrible stuff in life, and we don't go through the things to learn, but I believe when we go through the horrible things, we should learn something from it to not go through those things ever again. And that's what I try to do when I go through horrible, tragic things in my life that happen beyond my own control. And even mistakes that we, may have made. I won't even say mistakes, but bad decisions and bad choices. Because, a mistake is writing the wrong day on your check or something like that. A bad decision is being in the space that she was in that night, and then that unfortunate situation happened to her. So anyway, guys, you can let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comment section. Thanks so much for being here, for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.